The Coral Castle Magnetic Levitation System. Between 1923 and 1951, Edward Leeds Scallinen single-handedly built Coral Castle in Florida, using massive coral blocks weighing up to 30 tons each. Witnesses reported seeing him work at night moving stones that seemed to float through the air, suggesting he employed an unknown method resembling magnetic levitation or gravitational manipulation. Leeds Scallinen claimed to understand the construction techniques of the ancient Egyptians, stating that pyramids were built using magnetic currents and anti-gravity principles, and he designed Coral Castle as a demonstration of these lost methods. His workshop contained unusual electrical equipment, including homemade generators, electromagnetic coils, and devices for measuring magnetic currents. The precision of the construction is extraordinary. Some stones are balanced on single points and can be moved by hand despite weighing tons, while complex joints and cut marks show machining beyond primitive tools. Observers often remarked on the eerie quiet of the site at night, as if unseen forces were at work, giving the impression that Leeds Scallinen had unlocked secrets long forgotten by humanity. After Leeds Scallinen's death in 1951, authorities confiscated all equipment and notes, erasing evidence of his methods. Modern attempts to replicate the construction with cranes and teams show the work requires enormous manpower, yet Leeds Scallinen achieved it alone, implying access to advanced principles of levitation or force manipulation that remain unknown to mainstream science. Coral Castle represents a lost technology that may have applied magnetic fields or gravity control to move massive objects with precision, leaving one of the most enduring mysteries in human engineering. The Reich Cancer Cure Machine. In the early 1930s, Dr. Royal Raymond Rife developed a microscope capable of magnifying living microorganisms at over 60,000 times without killing them, something conventional microscopes could not achieve. His universal microscope used polarized light and a specialized optical system that allowed viruses and bacteria to be observed alive and in motion. Through these observations, Rife identified that each microorganism emitted a unique electromagnetic frequency. He discovered that cancer-causing organisms could be destroyed by exposing them to their exact resonant frequency. This process worked through resonance, where a structure breaks apart when exposed to a matching frequency, similar to how sound can shatter glass. Rife built frequency generators that emitted precise electromagnetic pulses designed to destroy cancerous cells while leaving healthy tissue unharmed. In 1934, clinical trials were conducted with 16 terminal cancer patients. Within 70 days, 14 patients were declared cancer-free, and the remaining 2 recovered after adjustments to their treatment frequencies, resulting in a reported 100% success rate. Before these findings could be published, the supervising physician, Dr. Milbank Johnson, died unexpectedly, and all trial documentation disappeared. The American Medical Association moved to discredit Rife's work. Medical journals refused publication, and physicians using Rife machines were threatened. In 1939, Rife's laboratory was destroyed and his equipment confiscated, erasing a technology that challenged the profit-driven model of cancer treatment. The cold fusion reactor. In 1989, chemists Martin Fleischmann and Stanley Pons announced the achievement of nuclear fusion at room temperature, a phenomenon later called cold fusion. Using palladium electrodes immersed in heavy water, they induced nuclear reactions that released large amounts of energy without extreme heat, radiation, or harmful byproducts. Unlike conventional fusion, which requires millions of degrees, cold fusion could theoretically provide abundant clean energy in small, compact devices. Early tests reportedly produced excess heat beyond the input energy, suggesting a near unlimited power source. The results were initially met with skepticism, as major laboratories failed to replicate them under controlled conditions, leading to widespread dismissal. However, independent researchers have reported partial reproducibility, and some claim that subtle variables, such as electrode purity or environmental factors, may unlock consistent results. Funding was withdrawn rapidly, research was suppressed, and patents disappeared or were restricted, likely due to the threat to energy industries. If fully developed, cold fusion could have transformed global energy systems, eliminating dependence on fossil fuels, reducing costs, and providing safe, clean, and virtually limitless power. Had it progressed, it could have enabled decentralized energy production, creating self-sufficient communities and entirely new industrial possibilities decades ago. The Brown anti-gravity device. In 1928, physicist Townsend Brown discovered that electrically charged objects experience a directional force, suggesting a connection between electricity and gravity. He observed that capacitors, when charged with high voltage, would move toward the positive electrode, generating thrust without propellant or moving parts. This phenomenon, later called the Biefeld-Brown effect, formed the basis for anti-gravity technology. By 1952, Brown demonstrated disc-shaped craft that flew under their own power using high-voltage capacitors, achieving speeds of several hundred miles per hour with no engines, fuel, or reaction mass. The devices worked by creating an electrogravitic field, which manipulated gravity locally, allowing lift and sustained flight. The military immediately funded further research under projects such as Winter Haven and Project Y, developing disc-shaped aircraft capable of performance far beyond conventional planes. In 1956, the research suddenly became classified under national security orders. Patents were seized and public discussion was prohibited. Brown's work was removed from access, though investigations show that major aerospace companies secretly incorporated electrogravitics into advanced military aircraft. The suppression appears to have been motivated by strategic military advantage, as controlling anti-gravity technology could provide decisive superiority in aviation. Brown continued research privately, but remained barred from publishing or demonstrating his discoveries, leaving the technology hidden within classified government programs. The Keely motor mystery. In 1872, inventor John W. Keely developed a motor that ran on what he called sympathetic vibration, extracting energy from sound waves and molecular resonance. Keely claimed the device harnessed etheric force, a vibrational energy present in all matter, and converted it into mechanical work. His demonstrations powered heavy machinery, lifted enormous weights, and ran continuously for hours using only acoustic tones from tuning forks and resonators. The motor appeared to produce more energy than conventional physics allowed, effectively functioning as a perpetual motion device. Investors initially funded the Keely Motor Company in 1874, recognizing its revolutionary potential, but later withdrew support when they realized it could disrupt existing industrial and energy infrastructure. Systematic suppression followed. Keely refused to reveal the complete operating principles, funding was cut, and legal action seized his laboratory. After his death in 1898, investigators claimed fraud, alleging hidden compressed air systems, but these claims were often promoted by those with vested financial interests in suppressing the technology. Modern researchers attempting to replicate Keely's vibrational motors have achieved partial success, generating more energy than theoretically possible from acoustic resonance. The Keely motor represents an early exploration of energy extraction from molecular vibration, a technology that could have eliminated dependence on fossil fuels and centralized power over a century ago. The Hutchison effect apparatus. In 1979, Canadian inventor John Hutchison discovered that intersecting electromagnetic fields could cause objects to levitate, transmute, and behave in ways that defied conventional physics. Using Tesla coils, RF generators, and Van de Graaff devices, Hutchison created zones where metals spontaneously floated, fused, or changed composition at the molecular level. Witnesses, including military officials, observed aluminum bars bending like rubber, wood fusing with metal, and objects defying conservation of mass and energy. Hutchison documented that these effects were caused by precise interactions of electromagnetic fields, allowing localized manipulation of matter. The apparatus was demonstrated publicly to military observers,
confirming that levitation and transmutation were reproducible phenomena. In 1990, Canadian authorities confiscated all his equipment and documentation under national security orders, prohibiting further public research. Subsequent government experiments reportedly replicated aspects of the Hutchison effect, but results remain classified. The technology has potential applications in advanced manufacturing, transportation, and materials science, as it allows control over matter at atomic and molecular levels. Its suppression appears motivated by military and industrial interests, as unrestricted development could make conventional weapons and manufacturing methods obsolete, while offering revolutionary control over energy and matter. The Reich orgone accumulator. In the 1940s, psychotherapist Wilhelm Reich developed devices called orgone accumulators to concentrate a universal life force he called orgone energy. Reich discovered that living organisms emit this energy naturally and that it could be collected using alternating layers of organic and metallic materials arranged in boxes or panels. Patients exposed to orgone accumulators showed measurable improvements in health, including accelerated healing, reduced fatigue, and relief from chronic conditions. Reich also built large-scale cloudbusters, devices that manipulated orgone energy in the atmosphere to disperse clouds, induce rainfall, and influence weather patterns. In 1947, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration labeled orgone energy devices as fraudulent and sought to eliminate their use. By 1956, federal agents raided Reich's laboratories, destroying accumulators, research notes, and personal journals, while Reich himself was imprisoned in 1957 for contempt of court and died in custody 8 months later. Independent researchers have reported similar biological effects when attempting to replicate the accumulators, including heat generation and accelerated plant growth, suggesting the phenomenon may have a reproducible basis. Reich's work was erased because it threatened pharmaceutical profits, conventional medical practice, and energy industries reliant on traditional power sources, effectively removing a technology that could have transformed medicine and environmental control.
The Tesla Free Energy Generator. In 1899, Nikola Tesla began experiments to transmit electricity wirelessly, without wires, fuel, or conventional generators. His work was based on the discovery that the Earth and its atmosphere function as a massive electrical system capable of conducting and storing energy. By using extremely high-voltage, high-frequency electrical signals, Tesla showed that energy could be transmitted through the ground and air using resonance rather than physical connections. In 1901, this concept was expanded through the construction of the Wardenclyffe Tower on Long Island. The tower acted as a resonant transmitter, injecting electrical energy into the Earth at specific frequencies. Any properly tuned receiver could extract usable electricity from the surrounding electromagnetic field. The system did not generate power locally, but redistributed naturally occurring electromagnetic radiation, which Tesla referred to as radiant energy. The core principle was resonance. When the transmitted frequency matched the Earth's natural electrical frequency, energy transfer became highly efficient. Demonstrations showed light bulbs glowing without wires, motors operating continuously, and electrical devices functioning without fuel or visible power sources, using only tuned receivers. Funding came from J.P. Morgan, who withdrew support after realizing the system could not be metered or controlled. Construction halted, the tower was later demolished, and after Tesla's death in 1943, U.S. authorities seized his research under national security laws. Many of these materials remain classified, and similar energy technologies continued to be suppressed under invention secrecy orders. SEARL Effect Generator. In the 1960s, British engineer John Searle developed a magnetic generator capable of producing unlimited electrical energy, while simultaneously exhibiting anti-gravity effects. The SEARL Effect Generator, or SEG, consisted of magnetized rollers orbiting around magnetized rings in precise geometric patterns. As the rollers rotated, they generated electrical power through magnetic induction while reducing the apparent weight of the system,
allowing it to lift and float. Demonstrations reportedly showed SEG devices powering entire buildings without fuel while levitating autonomously, extracting energy from magnetic field interactions that appeared to defy conventional physics. The design combined principles of free energy with anti-gravity, allowing continuous electricity generation while providing lift and propulsion in a single system. Searle claimed the principles could scale up for vehicles, small aircraft, and even space propulsion, hinting at applications far beyond what was publicly demonstrated. In 1968, authorities raided Searle's laboratory, claiming interference with aircraft navigation, and destroyed all equipment. Legal restrictions, confiscations, and patent suppression prevented further development. Subsequent attempts to replicate SEG technology faced harassment and confiscation. SEG remains one of the most significant erased technologies, as it could have eliminated dependence on fossil fuels, reduced environmental damage, and launched a new era of self-propelled energy systems. The Schauberger implosion engine. In the 1940s, Austrian inventor Victor Schauberger developed engines that generated power through implosion rather than conventional explosion. His devices created spiral vortex patterns in air and water, concentrating energy inward instead of dispersing it outward. This vortex process produced thrust, generated energy more efficiently than conventional engines, and produced clean byproducts, purified air and water. Schauberger's engines achieved power outputs that exceeded thermodynamic expectations, operating almost silently while becoming more efficient over time. The German military commissioned him during World War II to develop implosion-based propulsion for disc-shaped aircraft capable of extraordinary flight, reaching speeds and maneuverability beyond conventional designs. After the war, U.S. intelligence confiscated Schauberger's research, prototypes, and documentation, preventing independent development. Modern attempts to replicate the engines achieve limited success, but ongoing suppression through patents, funding blocks, and legal obstacles prevents widespread use. Schauberger's engines offered a clean energy source with near unlimited efficiency and environmental benefits. Had the technology been developed and widely applied, it could have replaced combustion engines, revolutionized energy generation, reduced global pollution, and provided clean propulsion decades before modern clean energy initiatives. The Philadelphia Experiment Teleportation Device. In 1943, the U.S. Navy reportedly conducted the Philadelphia experiment on the destroyer USS Eldridge, using massive electromagnetic generators to manipulate space-time and achieve teleportation. Based on Einstein's unified field theory, the experiment generated an electromagnetic field around the ship, which caused it to vanish from Philadelphia and reappear at Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away. Crew members experienced severe effects, including partial fusion with the ship, temporary invisibility, and temporal displacement. Radar operators confirmed the ship's sudden appearances and disappearances. The experiment demonstrated manipulation of physical reality, including matter transmission and invisibility. Following the test, all records were classified, witnesses were sworn to secrecy, and discussion was prohibited under threat of court-martial. Researchers later suggested that the technology relied on dimensional manipulation, allowing objects to travel through parallel space-time layers. Analysts have speculated that further development could have enabled instantaneous travel, creating new methods of transportation and communication far beyond anything conventional physics allows. The suppression appears motivated by the technology's potential military and economic disruption, as instantaneous matter transmission could render transportation and defense systems obsolete. The Starlite heat-proof material. In the 1980s, British inventor Maurice Ward developed Starlite, a heat-resistant material capable of withstanding extreme temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius without burning, melting, or transferring heat. In television demonstrations, Starlite prevented eggs from cooking and protected metal panels from blowtorches, lasers, and simulated nuclear heat. Unlike conventional ceramic or metal shields, Starlite was lightweight, flexible, and inexpensive, potentially suitable as a coating for spacecraft, buildings, and industrial machinery. Ward claimed the material was made from a combination of polymers and household chemicals, though he never disclosed the formula publicly without legal protection. Aerospace and military institutions expressed strong interest, recognizing its potential to revolutionize heat shielding and fireproofing, but disputes over patents and secrecy prevented development. Ward passed away in 2011, leaving the exact composition unrecovered. Attempts to replicate Starlite have failed, making it one of the most significant lost inventions. Analysts suggest that if widely applied, it could have prevented industrial fires, improved spacecraft safety, and drastically enhanced protective equipment for workers worldwide, demonstrating a lost opportunity with both civilian and strategic applications. These are just a few of the incredible inventions humans have made. Curious for more? Go check out my other videos.